This week we begin with in Acts with the imprisonment of James and the end, really, of the narrative of the Church of Jerusalem. And the rest of the book of Acts is going to be focused on Paul. Paul's journeys are confusing for most people that are not familiar with the geography of the Mediterranean world. All you really need to know is that Paul is progressively moving west. And he actually says in the book of Romans that his intention had been to go all the way to Spain, which is all the way on the other side of the Mediterranean Sea, and basically is the edge of the world. I mean, from Spain, you look out to the west and all you see is the Atlantic Ocean. And so for them, that is the edge of the world. And so Paul's intention is to literally go to the uttermost parts of the world. We don't see a lot of other people. It's mostly Paul and people closely associated with him, which makes sense because Luke is presenting Paul's narrative. There are other testimonies, early testimonies of the lives of the other apostles. We have no way of proving whether they're true or myth or what. All we have is Paul as kind of the template. And one of the things you'll notice, and you'll actually see next week when we wrap up the book of Acts, that Paul ends in Rome, being imprisoned in Rome. He's under house arrest in Rome, and that's where the story ends. We never really know what happens. Now, we know from church tradition that Paul was martyred. Peter and Paul were both martyred in Rome, according to church tradition. But Rome is not the center of the church. Rome is actually just that place he winds up at the end. And so often those who would argue the primacy of the Roman church, if you really think about it, if the Bible doesn't really mention Rome as the center of things, why on earth would Rome be the center of the church? Why would that be, for lack of a better word, the capital of the church? One would assume that would be Jerusalem or Ephesus. And that is something that actually was picked up by Western Christianity during the Middle Ages and not something based on the Bible.